Hi folks, today on the Cowbridge kitchen we are going to go back to Italy. Yep, we are going to make some classic Italian meatballs. Okay, so for our meatballs, what we're going to need, I've got about 350 grams or so here of lean mince meat. Okay, we're going to need that, pop that into a container. Red onion, and we're going to dice that up. We've got some lazy garlic, use fresh garlic if you like, I'm using lazy garlic. Some hot chili powder, just a small amount of that. Some pepper, black pepper. Tarragon, again, I'm using dried tarragon. If you want to use fresh tarragon, you know, be my guest, use fresh. It'll probably taste better, but I'm using dried tarragon. And we've got some onion granules. So we've got some onion granules here to go into our meatballs. Okay, so let me show you what we need to do to get this together. Okay, so with our mince, which is in our bowl, what we want to do now is get your hand in there and get this all mushed up, so that it's all the little strips of mince have gone. So it's a nice big ball of mushed up mince meat. That should take a few minutes to do that. This will take a little while, but put a bit of effort into it because it makes your meatballs much smoother, much nicer. So get it all mushed up so there's no little strips of mince left in there. It's just a big ball of mince meat. Okay, so having done that now, our mince meat is all nice and squashed up. Make a little bit of flatten it out a little bit in the bowl. So it's just like that. And we're going to add our ingredients now. Pepper, just a shake of pepper, nothing too much. Onion granules. We're going to go 1 teaspoon of onion granules. Shake them all over. Lazy garlic. Okay, I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of garlic in there. Get that into it. Bit of the oil as well, which is quite nice. Then we're going to have our tarragon. Yeah, so we're going to pop our tarragon in there as well. So we've got about a teaspoon of tarragon, but I quite like it, so I'm going to pop quite a bit in there. Yeah, half a teaspoon now, okay, of chili powder into that as well. And then what we need to do is to get this all mixed in, and then we can add our onion into it. Just need to get your hands in there now, really, get it all mixed in. So there's evenly mixed in, okay, so you haven't got one bit with a big massive dollop of chili powder that's going to blow your head off if you get the unlucky meatball. And you haven't got any without anything in it at all. So get it all well mixed up. Spend a couple of minutes doing this. So what we're going to do at this stage now, we've got our onion all diced up. We're going to add our onion into this meat mincemeat mix. Okay, so we get the whole lot of onion in. Again, I love red onion, so I put the whole onion in there. Love it. Hand again, get this all mixed in, nice and evenly again, so your onions all mixed in well to your mincemeat. There we go. Okay, so our mincemeat is all made up here in a pot. What we're going to do, we're going to flour this board here, and we're going to start rolling them out into small meatballs on the board. Okay, so size-wise, I'm only going to make small ones. Really, they are going to be small. So we're going to get a little piece there, roll it in the flour, roll it in your hand, and really sort of compress it, okay? So that it holds together. Compress it in your hands like this, so it's flat, and then roll them out. Okay, so there you are, they're about that size. Alright, so I'm going to do as many of them as I can out of that. So, I managed to get, out of that 350 grams of minced beef, I managed to get 18 meatballs. Small ones, but perfect. Perfectly sized 18 meatballs. So what we're going to do with these, I'm going to put these now onto a floured baking tray parchment and get them in the fridge. Okay, so onto this baking tray, I'm just going to get some flour. Leave that around there to stop those meatballs sticking, and we should be able to get all of these quite nicely on this. There we go. Perfect. And I'm going to pop these into the fridge. Okay, so pop these in here, and these can stay in here now for about an hour. So while our meatballs are resting now in the fridge, what we're going to do is we're going to get the tomato sauce made up. Okay, so for this we're going to want some chopped up onions first of all, and they're going to go into a pan with some butter. Over here we've got our pan on the stove. Okay, we've got a nice generous amount of butter in there. What we want to do is get that melted, get these onions into the pan, and there we are. Our butter is pretty much melted. Okay, it's not fully melted, but it's good enough. What we're going to do now is get our onions into here, all in there, lovely. Okay, I'm going to avoid putting any garlic in this sauce, for the simple reason that this is obviously the sauce for the meatballs, and the meatballs have already got some garlic in there, so we're going to avoid garlic, so we're just going to go with the onions. So we turn the heat right down on them and let them cook there for a few minutes. So while our onions are cooking over here on the stove, we're going to get some paste made up now to make the flavour for the sauce. So we're going to use one beef stock cube, okay? Grind that up into a powder. That's going to go into there. Got some smoked paprika, okay? We want to put 1 teaspoon now of smoked paprika in there. And if you put a bit more, it's not going to really hurt. There, I could probably got about 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika. We've got some tomato ketchup, okay? A generous amount. I mean, I would probably looking at, if we take a serving spoon, okay, we're probably looking at about 2 serving spoons of ketchup. So we'll just guess that out. There's 1, there's 2. Okay, so 2 serving spoons of ketchup, and then we've got Italian passata, and this stuff's got basil already in it, so we don't need to put any basil in here. Same amount of this into there, so about 2 good serving spoons of this passata. There we are, 1, 2. So onto that now, add a tiny bit of hot water, just a splash, and then we'll mix the paste in. Just get all that mixed now, so that all of the powders that you put in first all come up. There you go. And that is all mixed through quite nice. So our onions are virtually cooked now, so we're just going to take a quick look at them. And there we are, they're nice and soft now, melted in the butter, all quite nice. So what we're going to do to this at this stage, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of flour. Okay, just a level teaspoon now of flour into that butter and onions. Mix that in. There we are. If you want the sauce a little tiny bit thicker, add a little tiny bit more flour, okay? So alright, we'll add 1.5, there we are. Just to make that into a nice paste, so about 1.5. On top of that now, our tin of chopped tomatoes, okay? I'm going to pop them in there. And that's going to cool it down quite nicely. So that's going to take a little while now to reheat. Yeah, turn the heat up a little bit and get that nice and hot. And as that heats up, that sauce, or those tin chopped tomatoes, will start to thicken quite nicely. There we are. So with the heat up now, our mix that we made earlier as well, this can go straight into here, and all that lovely flavour is going to make its way through those tomatoes, and that sauce is going to be delicious. So, okay, our sauce has now been cooking on the stove. It's thickened quite nicely, and it tastes absolutely beautiful. Check that. That is ready for the meatballs. So what we'll do, get our meatballs out of the fridge now, and we'll fry them off in a pan, and they can go in the sauce. There we are, 1 pan on the stove now, nice piece of butter in there. Get that melted at a nice steady heat, and our meatballs can be fried off. There we are, butter's melted, meatballs in the pan. We should be able to get them all in, I hope. Only just. There we are, and leave those little monkeys there to cook for a few minutes. Here we are, so these little bad boys have been cooking for a few minutes now, so if we turn them over, we can see now that they're starting to brown on the one side. So what we're going to do with these, we're going to get them all turned over, leave them to cook for about another 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes or so, so that they all brown up nicely. Okay, so our meatballs have been cooking in this pan here for about 5 minutes or so now. They're nice and brown on both sides, and they're looking sort of cooked all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop the tomato sauce back on the stove, get that warm, meatballs can go straight into there. Here we are. So meatballs, fat and all, everything into the tomato sauce. Get them mixed in there. And then what we can do now is we're going to let these cook, finish cooking now in the tomato sauce. You can get these covered with a plate. Quite often it's what I cover stuff with, so I should cover that with a plate now and leave that cook on the stove for probably about another 10 minutes or so. Once your meatballs are cooked, job done. So there we are, we've got our meatballs done. We need a little bit of lovely spaghetti on there. A couple of good spoonfuls of meatballs on top of that. Wow. Job done.